So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of 90 Day Fiancé MK Classic Edition. I'm Mr. O, and today Ms. H and I will be discussing Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4 of 90 Day Fiancé. In these episodes, Chelsea and Ymir get their sweet basement, Amy meets pretty much all of Jason's family, Muhammad wanders the earth and finds some young football players, and we meet Jason and Cassie for the first time. We'll also discuss the other couples, and have our Students of the Week, class dunces, and life lessons as always. Stay tuned and enjoy!
Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, getting through the week, you know?
Yep. It's almost Friday.
Almost Friday. Almost got there.
Yes.
Yes. One more full week after this, and we'll be good to go.
Yep. Exactly. I'm so excited. Oh, we'll probably have to talk about, we're going to have an interesting, or different, I should say, podcast schedule. Because winter break.
Yeah, Miss H has more interest in life than me, so she's gonna have to mix our schedule up over the holidays.
Yeah, I will be off the grid. I will be on a dive boat in Palau for 2 weeks, so we'll have to figure some stuff out. But we'll try to release some episodes during the week. But for the new episodes, we might be behind a week or so. But you all probably are busy with holiday stuff as well.
Right. Everybody's probably going to get behind, too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So, where do you want to start this week?
Let's start with Danielle and Muhammad.
Okay. So, they are going to a family dinner. Danielle is particularly worried about Paul because Paul is outspoken. And then she's also not concerned, but, points out that they're going to an American restaurant, which she believes will be a culture shock for Muhammad.
Right. I guess? Maybe? It seemed like the only culture shock that was really there was he was like, is there anything on the menu that doesn't have meat?
Right. A vegetarian in Ohio, I was like, okay.
Yeah, usually
it'll
they
be
can be
interesting.
Possibly the meatloaf. But yeah, so it was funny too because she said outspoken Paul, and I'm like, outspoken is one of those euphemism code words that you use to mean something else. Outspoken means outspoken Paul. I'm really worried about Paul because Paul's an asshole. Is really what she's trying to say.
He was actually pretty tame.
I mean,
so
he was. It was just that one part when he was Muhammad mentioned not eating meat, and he was like,
right.
What?
He was like, what? You don't eat bacon?
Meat? What?
Yes,
and especially
because
I've known lots of people who are pretty bigoted about Muslims, and all of them know that Muslims can't eat bacon. That's the one thing they know about Islam.
I find that kind of interesting, and I know I'm fast forwarding a little bit here, but aren't they also not allowed to drink?
Yep.
So then this is what I don't understand about and this is not even just Muslims. This is any religion. How can you kind of pick and choose what you want to do, but then be so
I'm
strict
super,
about other things?
I'm super. Yep. My religion forbids this, but then there's other things that religion also forbids. You just conveniently don't do. I don't know either. Yeah.
Right.
It's one thing to be a religious, be like, I'm not that into the religion. I follow it, but I don't stick to everything by the letter. And another to be like, no, I have to sleep on the couch because my religion.
Yes. I mean, we've all agreed that that's
that's a pretext. Yes,
sure.
That's a pretext.
Sure. So he says he doesn't eat bacon, and then kind of going along with us picking and choosing. Paul's saying, oh, well, we hunt around here. Would you ever want to learn to hunt? Muhammad's like, yes, I want to learn everything. It's like, okay.
So to be fair, he wasn't a vegetarian because I did give that up. He was halal, so he eats meat.
Sure.
But so killing the animal is fine. It's just he wouldn't eat that meat. That meat is unclean. Yeah.
Okay.
And he just assumed that any meat that they had at this random American restaurant was not halal.
Questionable. I think that's safe-ish to say. It looked like they were at some kind of Chili's kind of place where everything's fried and burgers and fries and
that seemed about right.
Yeah. Okay, so can we take a time out and talk about Danielle? all the things that were unfortunate about Danielle in this episode. Danielle, can she please go to school to learn how to speak properly? Her grammar is so bad.
Oh, I don't think I even noticed that.
Oh, you don't know? No? I was like, oh my gosh, shush. her grammar is pretty awful. I think it's probably one of the worst of any of the Americans on the show ever.
Uh-huh. But that
it makes
also
her sound so uneducated.
It does. Yeah, I guess it makes her sound probably less smart than she is in real life, I guess. But maybe she's not. Maybe she is that bad in real life. Let's hope. But it also makes for good TV because it makes for a lot of quotable things, like when you misspeak.
That's true. That's true. Okay, other things about Danielle. She had some weird spray tan situation or foundation thing. I don't know if you noticed it because it was during one of your favorite kinds of scenes when they go wedding dress shopping. And
this is one of the better wedding dress shopping, but okay, keep going.
And they have a close-up of her face, and you could just see, like, towards her hairline, it was a completely different color and almost like an orange color between the two.
Yeah, I don't usually notice makeup, but I do know when I was in college, I worked at the library fixing computers, and I know I went to work on one woman's computer, and she just had, I swear, like a half-inch of white foundation over her whole, and it just was like a line that ended at the edge of her face, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. That's the only time I've ever, like, can remember noticing makeup. That's not something that's usually on my radar.
This is more like a spray tan, so it was like, I think what drew the attention was that it was an unnatural orange color.
Oh, so a little bit like the Trump around the eyes type of thing, like the orange with the white. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, except like around her hairline.
Right.
Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, Danielle goes wedding dress shopping with her daughters. It's interesting to me that her daughters look so different from one another.
They really do.
Yeah. One of them looks almost exactly like Danielle with like a boy haircut.
The one that was, and I thought the one that sits all the way on the right, well, one of them has a straight up boy haircut.
Yes.
And then the other one, the one that was in the middle, looks the least like her.
Yes.
And then the one on the other side, I don't know any of their names. She also just looks smack like Danielle.
I want to say Faith is one of them. I had it written down, but I couldn't tell you which one's which, even if I could produce the three names right now.
Sure.
So they go wedding dress shopping, and the budget is $500 for the dress. It's revealed during this time that Danielle has never been married before, although I feel like we don't need an official reveal. We could probably guess that.
I don't know. You have 4 kids. You think there's a decent possibility that somebody was up in there.
That's true. The girls are being pretty tough critics about the wedding dress
shopping. Very tough critics. I liked how blunt they were. That's a 4. I don't like it. It's 4.
Yeah. Yep.
Top looked bad. Get it out.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, she goes with her daughters and her, not daughter-in-law, but like her son's girlfriend.
Yes, the son's girlfriend, yes. They wanted a dress that fits her personality.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
I don't even know. I can't think of any personality and any dress that go together. Those are just like I don't know.
I like white potato sack?
I don't know.
What does that even mean?
I'm looking for a car that fits my sense of humor. Like what? I don't know what that means. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But like you said with the bluntness, they called her Shrek at one point. It said it reminds me of Shrek.
Yeah. Okay, I can see why this was like entertaining to you, even though you typically don't like the wedding dress shopping.
Oh, I was all there for the one daughter. Yeah, the one daughter just roasting every dress. That was what I was there for. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's fun. So I can't remember. Did she end up buying a dress?
Okay, so she found one that she loved, but it was like $750, and so they walked out. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna have to think about it," and I walks out.
Oh, we'll have to think about it.
Yeah,
oh, gosh, she's like crying in the corner. Oh goodness. Okay, so Danielle is worried about Muhammad while she's at work because he has nothing to do. So he walks along. He's walking along, taking a walk, and he sees people playing football.
This whole situation is so staged. Every single step of this is so staged.
Okay, so they come up to him and say, hey, we need an extra person. Do you want to play football with us? And then I counted. There was an odd number of
There was
people.
an odd.
So,
He was the odd. He was odd.
Yes!
Yeah, he made it an odd.
so I was like, how do you need an extra person? It makes the
So
teams uneven. That doesn't make any sense. Production, I feel like they could have like tied up loose ends here, like at least had it so it was like an even number of people. So it like appeared that they actually needed him.
Right. It's so dumb. And if you do have an odd number of people, you just do all-time quarterback and you're fine. It's weird. Like you don't get in on the baseball team. You don't get on the basketball court if you don't call next. Like if you just go up to the basketball court and stand next to it. They're never like,
Yeah. Yeah, he looked so
right.
awkward just like staring at them until they asked.
yeah, it was so the whole thing was awkward. I didn't know what to do, so I just started walking out like Forrest Gump or something. What are you doing? This is
Oh my
weird.
gosh.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna walk around town and find people to meet.
And then he
Ugh.
pretty much insults them or the sport or whatever by saying, I don't know why they call it football. You don't actually like use your feet. It's like, oh gosh.
All right. As a football fan, like one of the common jokes you always see on the internet is people calling it hand egg, and it's just like, oh, I can't stand
Hand
it. Just
egg?
stop.
I have
Because it's
never
not a
heard
foot
that.
and a ball, it's your hand, and it looks like an egg. So it shouldn't be football, it should be hand egg. And I'm like, please take that joke back to
I mean,
2009.
I don't have a better alternative, but I kind of agree that football doesn't necessarily describe what it is. But I mean,
there's a lot of things
hand
that
egg
aren't
is
described by what it is.
Sure. But I think it's extra confusing when football means something else that actually seems like it should be named football.
It should be called football. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
don't call that football, you call something else football, despite the fact that you don't use your feet. It's very
Right.
steamed hams. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to say these kids that he's playing with because they look like children. Didn't they look super young to you? Like my first thought was, why aren't these kids in school? That was my first thought.
I thought they looked like they were out of college. Like they didn't
Really?
look that young to me. Yeah.
I was like, they looked young to me. So then I was kind of surprised when they asked him if he wants to grab a drink. And I was like, are these kids even old enough to drink? But they went to a bar.
They went to a bar that had plastic cups. Jesus.
Oh gosh. I feel like that's kind of common. I don't know. Is it not common on the East Coast?
No, we always have glasses. Like if you're
I was gonna
the
say,
only
there's
time.
bars that I go to that have plastic cups.
No, I can't think of any bars. Well, I mean, if you go into like the city and you're in like a club, like something that they're like really
yeah.
packed and crowded, but like if it's just like a hole in the wall place, so they'll have glasses.
Yeah, I think it's a mix. Although, yeah, now that whole single-use plastic situation, maybe you'll see less of that. Maybe. So Muhammad drinks beer, which I was like, sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then the friends try to educate Muhammad on all the things American, including
Right.
one-night stands.
What does mean hooking up?
Yeah.
What does mean?
I was like, oh,
come on.
goodness.
And I don't know. I don't think that those guys in their small Ohio town are really hooking up all that much.
I know. I feel like you would. I don't know. Like you're either going to be Eskimo brothers with literally everyone, or there's going to have to be repeats somewhere in there, which then is not a one night stand.
Is not a one night stand.
Yeah,
Right?
that's like friends with benefits, I guess.
Right, but I mean, apparently there's enough. I don't want to say. I don't want to use any mean words. Interested
go
women,
around.
interested women that production was able to find two to throw at Muhammad.
Oh gosh, they on the one lady who actually hit on him just seemed plastered out of her mind.
Yeah,
She also seemed a
very much
little
so.
older.
Uh-huh.
I'm surprised that Muhammad didn't go for it. Like, I mean, okay, not go for it as in like, but not be more into it. I mean, for the love of God, he thinks Danielle is acceptable physically. I mean, this
Right.
lady was more than acceptable physically,
Truth,
you know,
Truth.
but
She was too forward though. She's supposed to wait
Yes.
for you to come to her. That's what I think. That's what really put him off. Is
Well,
like
okay.
that's not that turned him off.
Yes and no. So I understand where he's coming from, especially if his culture is like that. But let's be real here. Did Muhammad really hit on Danielle first? I don't see that happening. He is not like, hey, look at this chick. Like, she
yeah.
seems like someone I'm into.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me just, I kind of feel like Danielle probably showed interest in him first, and then he kind of went along with it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
I think part of it too was, I don't know. Danielle is acceptable physically is also an open question. That that's what he professed, but he's also sleeping on the couch. And so, yeah, I think the touching is what really threw him off. Is she kept like touching him, and he was like, "That's weird. Like, why are you touching me?"
Yeah. Okay, I can kind of see that, but still.
Also,
I feel
the fact that she was totally plastered.
Yeah.
And then she was totally plastered. The other woman had like a Playboy bunny tattooed onto her shoulder, and I was like, "Oh, I see what kind of signals."
Classy women.
Yeah, these are classy.
Plus,
ladies.
I feel like, isn't this during the day? Like, this is during the work day.
Yeah, because
I
Danielle's
always
at work.
question that.
Mm-hmm.
As a teacher, like we get spring break, and so it's like, starting to get kind of sunny and nice here, and so I'm out and about, like, and I've always questioned, like, what are you people doing?
Aren't you people supposed to be at work? I do that.
Yeah.
I feel that time when I'm like, every time I get traffic and I'm like on spring break or something, I'm like, why are all these people not at work?
Yeah, like I'll go grab a drink with like one of my teacher friends, because it's spring break, and it's like there's a lot of adults drinking. It's like, aren't you people supposed to be at work? I'm sure they think the same about me, but
yeah, it's like it's 1:00. Jeez, I'm supposed to be having my beer alone.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all that happened with them, right?
Yeah, that's it. That was it.
Okay, so next up,
Brett and Daya.
Okay. So, they drive 10 hours to go pick up Cassidy in Montana. And so on their little road trip, Daya says she likes the mountains and the snow. And this is probably the most she's seeing of America at this point, because she's only been in the country for a day.
Right. So I have a theory.
Yes.
I'm linking this to this season. Mm-hmm. When Marcel got to America and they drove home to Nebraska, he was like, "Where are the mountains?"
Yeah.
Do you think he'd seen this and was expecting a long car ride where there were beautiful mountains?
I doubt Marcel has seen 90
If you
Day
knew
Fiancé
you were going to be on the show, wouldn't you check it out?
Okay. But think about it this way. Let's say the show was a Russian television show. Okay, so it's not in your language at all. Would you really sit there and watch it? I don't know if I would have the patience for that.
I would go through it. I don't know why we'd specifically get to this episode, but I would definitely like check it out and put on the English subtitles and be like, "What's up? What am I getting myself into?"
Do you really think this show has Turkish subtitles?
I bet it does. In Turkey. If it's shown in Turkey,
then
it has
once
Turkish
again,
subtitles.
do you think they're showing this in Turkey?
I don't know.
It seems to be outside their value system. I don't know if this is like really what they would want to be showing, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed to map up so neatly to that situation that I was like, huh.
Yeah. Okay, so they get to meet Cassidy, and she is very shy at the beginning, and even towards Brett.
Yeah,
she just like didn't really
want
to.
It's also the cameras are also there too. That's throwing a whole other wrench into the situation. But I kind of my eyes perked up in that. So they went to pick up Cassidy from his ex-wife. I forget her name.
Yes.
But the handoff happens at a public park.
Oh, okay.
That's usually the sign of a bad breakup.
Okay, but then also the fact that it's a Montana, he's driving from Washington to Montana. It's possible that she tried to meet him.
She met him in the middle.
Halfway?
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe not halfway, but like closer, so he didn't have to drive as far. That's possible.
I could see that, because he said it was a 10-hour road trip.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't know. Would 10 hours get you there? Because you really only have to go through Idaho, right? I don't know.
Well, no, it's mostly Washington. Idaho, you go through the skinny part, that little tiny skinny part, and then
that's
go
what
to
I was
Montana.
Say. I don't know where in Washington,
but Montana's giant,
right?
It's marginally smaller than California. So to be like, oh, it's in California, like that doesn't help. Like,
yeah. So Cassidy doesn't really seem to be that into anyone at the beginning.
Yeah, not anybody.
Yeah, they keep trying to bribe her and, try to, I don't know, kind of almost like force her to do something. And Daya is
right, and they sit Daya in the back seat with her.
Yes, Daya's instantly, trying so hard. And they keep on calling her Instamom. And she's taking it very hard that Cassidy isn't immediately enamored with her.
Right.
And it's just like, this is a kid. Give her a chance to, like, warm up. I mean, look at how she even was with Brett. She was, like, a little, like, wary of him because she hasn't seen her dad in,
months.
What, 9 months, probably?
Yeah, probably.
Because they said that he only has her, like, I think over Christmas and then summer?
The summer. Mm-hmm.
So at least 6 months. So, I mean, she wasn't even really about dad. So, I mean, don't be so hard on yourself and don't expect too much.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, so Daya does sit in the back to bond with Cassidy to play tic-tac-toe. Cassidy's already being difficult. And then Brett's mom is staying at the house. So that means they all have to share a bed. Not Brett's mom. Brett's mom has Brett's bed, it sounded like. And then Brett, Cassidy, and Daya were all sleeping in Cassidy's bed.
Like, I keep getting an air mattress, right? Like, I don't know why people have to sleep in the bed.
Seriously,
like,
air mattresses are like what, $10, $20?
Especially one. You don't need a nice one to hold up a tiny kid. Like, they're not gonna pop it or like ruin it. Like, yeah, you can get one for $10. You can throw it out when she's done. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, that seemed really weird to me, and I don't know, this whole thing about, and they're not the only couple that has done this, but the couples that almost instantly have their kids share a bed with like the partner that they don't know, that to me is so bizarre.
Weird. It's super weird.
Like Jihoon and Devin did that, like Drusilla, like first night, like Jihoon's like in the bed. That's so bizarre.
And Robert and Andy this year did it. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah.
You meet this person and sleep in a bed with them. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I hate going to like conferences and stuff and they make you share a room with somebody you don't know when they're in a different bed. Like, I don't like that either. And I'm a grown up. I can't imagine a kid.
Yeah, it's super weird. So Cassidy's being difficult, and then Daya says she's concerned that they're not close yet. And I was like, it's been a day. Like give the kid a break.
Right.
Oh my gosh. But I did feel bad for her because then at one point, Daya thinks that she can, bond with Cassidy and also Brett's mom by saying, oh, do you want to see the wedding dress? So she tries on the wedding dress and she's really happy about it. And Cassidy seems to be into it. She's like fluffing up the back of her dress.
Pretty dress, fluff it up.
Yeah. Daya takes that opportunity to ask her if she wants to be the flower girl. Or I think she mentioned something about like it wasn't even a question. It was more, it's like assumed you're going to be the flower girl. And Cassidy's like, no!
I don't know. You never know with kids. That's like so weird. I couldn't get over all the birds in that house. They were like birds.
Yes.
Out of cages, like everywhere.
Yeah. I'm going to blame that on Lou and T.
Fair enough.
They seem like bird ladies to me, but I don't know. It could be Brett's. I have no idea.
I don't know. It's just like, I would be not uncomfortable. I guess it would take me some time to get comfortable with the bird house. Like dogs, cats, I'm on board. I don't know about the birds.
Birds are gross to me. I don't know. Like my friend had a bird and she would, the bird would like grab the seed at the bottom and throw it out of the cage. And so you get like all this bird seeds surrounding the cage area. Mm-hmm. But I guess it's the same with cats and litter box. They're kind of the same.
That's true.
Yeah. So, Daya is upset that Cassidy didn't want to be the flower girl. And then I noticed a giant jar of Nutella, and I kind of felt like it's Daya trying to bribe Cassidy.
Hey, Nutella is fantastic for that.
That'll win me over, sure.
You like peanut butter? Let me show you this.
Oh, yeah. This is even better.
This is like peanut butter, but chocolate.
Yeah, I know. Chocolate. It actually surprises me a little bit that that's like a thing. Oh, actually, I think I was reading somewhere that Nutella has the same energy benefits as peanut butter when it comes to like running or exercising. So I'm like, yeah. Yep. So now I have a bagel with Nutella before
Nutella
any
on
race.
it instead of peanut
Yeah.
butter. I like peanut butter a lot, so I'll eat anything. I do that thing, especially if I really am desperate. You never have that thing you go work out and you're like desperate and you come back and you're like, I just need food. I will definitely just be like spoon of peanut butter. Like
Yeah. Well, you could do the same thing with
spoon of
Nutella because it has the same same nutritional value. In fact, I think I want to even say there was a study that Nutella was better. I don't remember why exactly that was. But if it was better, it was slightly better. It wasn't like, world's difference. Okay. Brett's mom has an interview. Actually, was it an interview or was she talking to Brett?
No, it was Brett and her having one of those stage conversations where they do it instead of interview. Like, ooh, let's just go outside and chat for a bit.
Right. Yeah. So Brett's mom, she's concerned. She thinks that that their relationship seems really one-sided. So she said that Brett seems really excited, but Daya doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that was in an interview. You're right, before the chat. Like, they were kind of switching between the chat and the interview, and she did that in the interview part, right, where she was like, I didn't get any of the feeling that Daya was excited.
Yeah.
Which is probably pretty fair.
Right. And then because we talk about this, Brett and his stupid... I know it wasn't, but it looked like an Ed Hardy shirt.
That shirt. Oh, my God. It was like
so
white
awful.
denim with like giant blue crosses on the chest. It was outrageous.
I was like, it looks like an Ed Hardy shirt. Like, what are you wearing?
It looks like something that like Ed Hardy picked up at the Goodwill before he was like, I'm going to make a shirt like this.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay, I'm glad you noticed that too, because I had that in the notes talking about that weird ass shirt.
Yeah. So the ring conversation comes up again. And yeah, so they actually go to the jeweler, and the jeweler tells her that it's real. And
It's
so
real.
this is where,
Hold on.
This is where Daya...
Before they went in, she had like the stupidest, most ridiculous excuse.
Oh,
like,
right.
Well, I
That's
just
what
wanted to make
about.
sure that things are all good and that his reputation doesn't suffer. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
What the hell was
the
that?
only person who would know it was you, so how is his reputation going to suffer?
Oh my gosh. She said that she didn't want Brett to be embarrassed in front of his friends. She was only thinking about his reputation. I thought it was also weird. Like, wow, you're really trying to save face because, he brought you to the jeweler. So if he actually brought you there, there's a very good chance that this is real. So now you have to be like, oh, no. I didn't care if it was real or not. I would have still loved him and still loved the ring.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm concerned about his reputation. Yeah, I was like, oh God, you're the worst.
Oh.
Well, I can't say worst ever, but yeah.
So, but she still wants to do Diamond because she doesn't like the black fleck.
She's like, I don't like this black spot. Meh.
I like
All right, well.
Whatever.
Well,
that was it.
I feel like if you want that, then you get it.
Then you go get it. Yeah.
Yeah. You could do that. All right. I don't think there was anything else with them, right?
No, that's where we ended, is her still being like, yeah, it's a real diamond, but I want another one.
Okay. So next up, what did you have?
Actually, let's do the two. There were two that were really kind of short, so let's do those first.
Oh, yeah.
I know which one I want to save for last. Yeah.
And then we had Chelsea and Ymir, because I think they were only on one episode each. I think that's why.
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay.
So let's do Evelyn and Justin then, because they were in the first one.
Because they were in the first episode. So they were on episode 3. Mm-hmm. So Evelyn is nervous to meet everyone, especially Darth Vader, a.k.a. Jen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So did you check out Justin checking out his hair in the car window?
Oh, I did not. His hair. Oh. So what kind of, I'm trying to picture it. Does he have what kind of hair does he have?
I don't know.
Is it like a faux hawk? I know it has lots of product in it, but I just kind of think how it's styled with the product in it. Is it like...
I don't...
The
he
kind
just
of...
has a generally short cut, and it's just kind of zhuzhed, I guess.
Right. So the one that's because some guys have this thing where they have hair that look, they take not not many, but Justin is definitely one of them, who's going to take like a half hour to make sure it looks like he only took 30 seconds to do his hair.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he did a whole lot with it. But yeah, it just kind of, it's short, so it's not like Justin Bieber, like old school Justin Bieber, where he's like, you know, in his
All the
eyes
way
or
out.
anything like that. It's short, and it just like looks messed up. So
Yeah, but I
he,
definitely know
like-
people who spend a lot of time making sure it's perfectly messed up.
Oh gosh.
Just the way I want
Yes.
it messed up.
I kind of feel like that's what he was doing. So he literally ducked down to look in a car's like side view mirror and like zhuzhed up his hair before they walked in. So they go to
Which is a
a
bad sign,
barbecue.
because if you're worried about zhuzhing up your hair before you see like your mom and your brother and your sister-in-law, that's a whole nother level of vain.
I feel like, he's like that all the time. I don't think it has anything to do with who he's going to
Well,
see
no,
or
because
anything
I
like that.
usually put it. Yeah, but if I'm doing some things, you know, I'll put a little
Mm-hmm.
gel in my hair and comb it over. If I'm going to my mom's house, no, I'm not. No, there's no product going in my hair if I'm going to my mom's house.
Yeah. So they go to a barbecue. It looks like it's at some kind of apartment complex or something like that.
Yeah.
It's by a pool. And then he just kind of casually drops the
He tried
says,
to be
"Oh."
so smooth and be like,
I know, right?
My fiance. Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is Evelyn. She's I met her when, you know, I was in Colombia, and, you know, she is my fiance," or something like that, where it's
Right.
just like yeah, everyone was like, "What?"
What? Right? Oh, and then everybody kind of pounces on the both of them
Right.
with 1,000 questions.
Yeah. I think most of the questions were just like, "Wait, what? Like, we didn't even know you were dating anyone."
Right.
You know, things like that. And I would say that Justin's mom was actually really supportive. She's like, "Oh, she seems really nice. You know, good for him," kind of situation. Then we have Darth Vader.
Right. And she didn't say this green card comment until after they leave. Right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
she is very much like, I think she said something like, "What are your intentions?"
Yes. She said, "What are your intentions for the future?"
I hate
Yeah.
that question so much because, like, what do you expect? What do you want him to say? Like,
Yeah.
he said fiance, so my intentions are to get married. Like, what do you want? You think I'm going to say, "Oh, my intention is to scam him and get a green card," and then go away? Oh, you've caught me. The jig is up. Like,
Yeah, I have no idea what she was trying to get out of that. So what really kind of irritated me about this whole thing was that Justin is shocked that his family reacted the way that they did. It's like, really? Come on.
yeah. I mean, they literally, his friend called her Darth Vader. Like, you know that she's a judgy, like, kind of overly involved, angry. I couldn't figure out why she was so angry. She was mad. Like, why was she
Yeah.
mad?
I know, that's not even her brother.
Yeah.
That's her husband's brother. So I
husband's
don't know why
brother.
she was taking it so personally.
So personally.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless she had a thing for him. I don't know.
Well, that's a whole other kind of...
But even then, Matt said that she was like that with everyone.
Right.
So I don't know. It just sounds like that's her personality.
Seems like an exhausting way to go through life.
But going
Being
back to that,
personally
yeah,
upset
definitely.
by everybody.
Yeah, and to bombard them and interview them.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I feel like that's the reason why Justin didn't tell his family in the first place, is because he
Right.
knew they would react this
He
way.
was
So
afraid
how are
of
you
that.
shocked?
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then he then he brings back his his dream wedding, which
Yes.
is just to elope and get out of there. And
Right.
Evelyn did not take kindly to that suggestion.
No. Evelyn is very family oriented, so she wants to involve their families. And, you know, she was sad that she's been a secret when, you know, her family had met Justin and they all knew that they were getting married. And, you know, they
Yeah.
were all very welcoming and accepting of Justin. So, I mean, you can't make your family be welcoming of the other person, but I understand where she's coming from. Like, hey, I didn't keep you a secret from your family or from my family. And yeah, I want my family to be involved in my life, which means going to the wedding.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
No, definitely fair.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Justin matures this season.
Let's see. I'm
All right.
not holding my
So
breath.
next up, yeah, right. So next up, on the other episode 4, we just had Chelsea and Ymir. They were not in episode 3.
Yes.
So, okay, is it just me, or did it seem like his English, like, all of a sudden got worse?
Got worse. So
Yes.
I wonder if, because we know that some of the interviews are done like later in the season. Right. So I wonder if his interview English, he's actually a lot better at English because, he's had 90 or however long, many days to practice his English before he's in the interview segments. But yeah,
Okay.
it seemed like his English regressed.
It
seemed
got way
even
worse. I was like, what is happening right now? Is this an act?
Yeah. I could totally see it being if you're not especially proficient in the language, you consciously have to translate everything in your head. Then also the stress of a place you've never been before, meeting people you might use before, and that kind of doesn't work as much, and you kind of lose some of your language facility. I don't know. I don't speak any other language, so I don't know how it works at all.
Yeah. So they land in America, and Chelsea's parents pick up Chelsea and Ymir from the airport. And I love that they are trying to speak Spanish to him. They asked Chelsea what welcome
How
was
do you
in
say
Spanish.
welcome? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
they both gave him a big hug at the airport.
Yeah. They
yeah.
seem like a very, very nice family. And so they go back to the house, and Chelsea and Ymir are living in the basement. Holy hell, this basement is awesome.
It was a sweet basement, right?
Yes.
I love that Ymir was like,
huge.
that was like, it's a basement like they have in the movies.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
Yeah, this is so much better than any shit shed that's
Absolutely.
come up. They have their own private space. It looks like they just have, there's not like individual rooms, but there's enough area where it's very clear which area is supposed to be the bedroom area and then the living room area.
Right.
And the kitchen area. So yeah, it was really, I lived there. It was huge.
Yeah, that was one of the best living spaces we've seen so far.
Yes, definitely. So they have the parents barbecue for him, and here they're trying to talk with him, and Ymir says the priority of his life right now is to learn English. God bless you, Ymir.
I know, right?
Finally, someone has their priorities straight.
Right. Well, because they talk about employment, and he knows, and as other people should know who come up later, you can't get a job if you don't speak any language. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chelsea's mom seems to think he'd be okay, so she suggests that Ymir works at a meat packing plant that's nearby because she said that other Latinos also work there. So I think she was trying to suggest that maybe he would be able to have a job where other people also spoke Spanish.
Right. And so he'd be able to...
He speaks Spanish or Portuguese? Spanish, right?
Spanish.
He's Nicaragua.
It's Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Nicaragua. Yeah. So he speaks Spanish. So
Okay.
yeah, and it was a place where other people, but we do it, but on the K1 he can't work anyway. So that was kind of a weird conversation.
Right. Yes, because then that, to me, when I heard that, I kind of almost was like, okay, is this like an illegal under the table thing, like that about at the meatpacking plant? So
Right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, a lot of companies do that.
They do.
They hire large amounts, and then knowing that they can't unionize or get better conditions because you can just be like, well,
Right.
So it. Let's hope it's not. Let's hope they're above board.
I know that just makes me think of what was that? We've talked about this before on the podcast. Upton Sinclair's The Jungle.
Oh, the jungle, yeah.
Subpar living conditions because they're all immigrants and they can't do anything about it. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Oh. But I don't know. They seem to be doing okay for not being able to talk. And we have Chelsea here who is able to actually interpret for people, and we're not relying on a freaking phone.
I know. So she takes him to an open mic because she is trying to encourage him to pursue some kind of music career while they're there, because I do think she feels guilty that she's taking him away from that.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that did not go the best because
No.
he is a, Latin pop singer. You know, we don't even know if he has any musical ability beyond singing, if he can play an instrument or not, right?
Right.
And this bar it was open mic, so it could be whatever you want. But what you saw was, the best way I could put it was redneck rockabilly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely different styles. And I mean,
Definitely
even Ymir
different
is
styles.
like conscious of that. He was like, I don't know how they'll react to my music here. And so I think he feels very self-conscious.
Oh, I think he knew exactly how they would react to his music there and made the right call. It wouldn't have gone. They
Yeah.
wouldn't have like booed him or like
No.
jeered him, but it wouldn't have gone over very well. It was not the vibe of the place.
Yeah. I think also like if you think about the kinds of people who hang out at like dive bars, and it kind of looked like they were at a bit of a dive bar pub.
Yeah, it was a pizzeria
area.
Like,
Yeah, like those kinds of people are not into pop music typically. You
no,
know, they're
not
into
well
like
produced.
rock
Yeah,
more so.
rock,
So-
just country. You know, like
Yeah.
I can see that.
Not
yeah.
pop though.
Not pop. Not like slick, well produced pop. Like just
Right, right. So I feel like Chelsea was a little disappointed that Ymir didn't go up because it didn't go according to her plan, but that's okay because they both enjoyed pizza. Ymir
Right.
got his American pizza.
he got his American pizza.
Yeah.
That was yeah. I like Ymir's impressions of the United States. He's like basements
Mm-hmm.
and pizza. I'm liking it.
You know,
the
that
simple
makes you think of
joys.
Home Alone.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, they didn't have that much going on. I think that's all I had for them.
Yeah, that's all I have for them too.
Okay. So we have 2 couples left.
Yes, 2 couples left. So let's
We have
do
Danny and Amy,
yeah,
and yeah,
let's do Danny and Amy first. We'll get
Danny
the
and Amy.
new couple
So where we
second.
left off was Amy was sleeping in Nick and Cheryl's attic, and she had arrived in pretty much at nighttime, and so Danny had to leave immediately, and apparently Nick and Cheryl were asleep, so Amy never got to meet them. So Nick wants to wake up Amy so they can meet her.
Okay. I kind of hate Nick.
I do too.
Okay, because
Yeah.
on the surface he seems like I shouldn't hate him, but I kind of hate him. Like
Oh
that.
yeah,
How
that's
you
funny.
get woke-
I
how
do
you gonna
not
be
like him either.
a stranger and wake someone up. What the hell,
There were
man?
lots of things. It wasn't even just that made me dislike Nick, but
Well,
yes,
then he
he's
immediately
not my
said,
favorite.
"Say something African."
Yeah. So
Oh.
she tells him not to ask her this early. I was like, good for you, Amy. Yeah, it's like she's not a performance monkey because that's not the only time he asked her to say something. Later on, when they're at dinner, he asks her again. It's like,
Also, Nick, African is not a language. Afrikaans is a language. But
Yeah.
he didn't say that. He said African.
No.
He is definitely one of those stereotypical, like, thinks Africa is a country. kind of
Right,
people.
right.
Like, ugh.
it's like you feel kind of like because he's just ignorant, you know, like he's not trying to be.
Oh,
He comes
yeah,
off
but
as racist, to be honest.
Oh, very much
That's
so,
why
but-
I don't like him. But I mean,
there's
it's
other
just
things beyond the
ignorance.
racism that he brings up that comes up later. Because he also,
Oh, yeah.
because he also is the one that suggests when they're looking at the wedding venue, and we're skipping ahead, that
Yeah.
they bring a tent so they can consummate the wedding right there. Like,
Yes,
oh my God.
he's such a weirdo, and and also encouraging a rock fight area. I was like, what the heck? What is wrong with you?
Wait, did they say rock fight? I thought it said cockfight. Like
Oh,
cockfights.
cockfight.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I can't even read my own writing. Yes, it's a cockfight. Yeah, you wanted a cockfight arena. I was like, what is wrong with you?
Okay. So,
A rock fight would have been really bad.
a rock fight. Oh,
Throw rocks at each other for no reason.
right? And that's when and that's because he also has like rules for his house and like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I didn't like Nick. Okay.
Okay, but
So
let's
moving on
back
from not
up
liking
to him being racist, and he calls her tan. He was like, "Oh, you're real tan." Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you?
Like, you don't have to say what you think out loud all the time, man.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So even Amy is already like Nick, this asshole, but she's very nice about it. She's like,
very-
"Oh,
yeah,
he has out there thinking." Yeah, he does.
Uh-huh. But at least leaves her to just start wandering around the woods for some reason.
Yeah, so she feels lonely.
Yeah.
She's not used to not having at least her mom around.
Right.
So, yeah, and she's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. She's kind of like Sinjin, you know,
Yeah.
like out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, well, she's used to being like
Backcountry.
in the city, and she kind of walks out. I was
Yes.
like, at home, if you leave me at home alone, I can walk around and like, maybe there'll be guys playing soccer or guys playing football.
Oh, gosh. And maybe they'll invite me to join because they have
Exactly.
like an odd number of people.
Exactly.
Yeah, what they didn't show in the Muhammad clip was that Amy was there too. She was the even number person.
Yeah, they just left that part out.
Yeah.
She walked to Ohio.
Right. So Amy's home by herself all day. So Danny's aware of this. So he thinks that Amy wants more company after a day of being alone. So he literally invites everybody he knows over for dinner.
Well, it was funny. It was many, many, many people. But
Oh, yeah.
after the dinner, he said that was only half of my family. Like that was only half of them.
Well, he said there's 7 of them.
But it was
like, of
many,
the
many people.
kids.
Like enough
And I
that
think
like
he's
they had
the last.
They had the table with like another table next to it and a kid
Yeah.
table in the other room. Like there
Yep.
was a ton of people.
Yes.
I thought it was weird that like it was a party and people were coming over
Yeah.
and everybody kept knocking on the door. I feel like if it's a party, like you just come in, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, but even regardless, Danny says that his idea of romance is everyone. And I was like, that's the
weird.
opposite.
Yeah.
Romance is 2 people, not you and your entire family.
Right.
So, yeah, I was just like, oh, poor Amy, because she just wants some alone time. She has had 0 alone time with Danny at this point.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Because
Yeah.
they didn't even he brought family with him to pick her up at the airport.
Yes. So when he was showing her the room, I think that was the only time that they were alone. And that was like all of 2 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
So Amy's not used to it because she's an only child, which is the complete opposite of Danny.
Very much different. Yeah.
Yeah. So Danny keeps on inviting people on their outings.
Right. And she there's that seems to be the issue that's coming up.
Yes.
That's going to be the ongoing one because it was like they went to see the venue and the potential venue, a
Yes.
farm where they might have the wedding.
Right.
And she was like, oh, this is a nice thing we could do together. And he like
Yeah.
casually drops in the middle. Oh, so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so are meeting us there. And she's like, what the hell?
I feel like she kind of knew that was a possibility just because she knows Danny at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it was something that I guess, yeah, she wasn't like, what the hell? She was more like disappointed. She was like, oh,
Yes.
fine.
So she finally tells him that, she wants some alone time sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is why I love Danny and Amy. It's like, even though this is an issue, like, and if I were Amy, I'd be incredibly frustrated with this issue. Like, how she presents it to him is just so, like, nice,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly.
We're almost to the point where I wonder a little bit, like, is it going to sink in? Because I feel like that's why people stop being nice about stuff, is because, like, if you're too nice about things, people don't get it.
Right. They don't get that, like, no, I'm asking you for something. I'm telling you I don't
Yeah.
like it. You need to change it. Like,
Right. Like, this is upsetting to me. Because she
Right.
didn't act incredibly upset. You could tell she was disappointed or a little bummed about it. But, yeah. So we'll see if Danny actually gets it.
right. Right.
Yeah. So, one quick thing, because it was just like a 2-second thing. Danny has to shower
Right.
in Amy's bathroom. And then Amy says she feels temptation.
I know. I was like, Amy's getting a little hot and bothered while he's showering.
No. Where's Kent when you need him? Kent needs to be the chaperone in there.
I did notice that. She was like, oh.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
feel like
Amy.
that was really unnecessary. Why does Danny have to shower like 10 feet away from her?
I assumed it. Yeah, there's got to be another
He's
shower.
coming from the construction
He's
site.
coming from his
Yeah.
work. So I get that he has
Yeah.
to shower, but like, there's other showers in that house, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to use
Yeah.
her shower.
Right. Yeah. So then they meet for marriage counseling at Danny's church.
Right.
And this is where, like, some things come out about, Amy wanting more alone time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Amy says that, Danny hasn't really sacrificed anything. Amy sacrificed a lot to be here, but Danny really hasn't. Amy sacrificed her family. Danny has not sacrificed his family. In fact, he keeps on dragging them along everywhere.
Hasn't even sacrificed any time with his family. Like, his family time went from 100% to 100%. He didn't even drop it down to 90.
Yeah, he's just like now Amy is included in family.
Right.
So he's, just continuing on, and just Amy's in the mix as well now. So then Danny kind of has like an immature thought. Like, it's very overwhelming to be Amy's everything.
Mm-hmm. Which, then you should have thought of that before you drug her halfway across the world. You have to be her everything.
And isolated her.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have anyone where you're at.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of built that situation where you have to be her anything, and you can't, like... And I guess he's just now realizing that that's the situation he built for her. It just feels like he could have thought of that before.
Yeah, and I think maybe what he thinks, and I can kind of see this, is that, my family can also be her friends. And so I'll keep on inviting family around, because then she'll eventually be friends with my family, and then she'll have friends now. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, which is, the way it works. Not everybody's... Right. It seems like Danny's in a situation where the bulk... pretty much his whole social circle is his family.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, that would be your whole social circle too. What's the problem? We're good.
Yeah. Okay. So that's all I had with them.
That's all for them.
Oh, one last thing. I thought it was really pretty. Her name actually isn't Amy. It's Amala. I thought that was really pretty.
Oh. Yeah.
Her mom called her that when she was video chatting with her mom.
Interesting.
Okay, so next up we have Jason, 38, from Spring Hill, Florida, and Cassia, 23, from Curitiba, Brazil.
I thought it was Curitiba, right?
What's that?
I was thinking whatever. It's in Brazil. Curry something Brazil.
Okay. Yes. So they made their entrance, episode 3 of this season. So we did not talk about them last week because they were not on last week. Yes, so we're introduced to Jason, who lives with his dad, Ron, Mercedes, Frank, Cecilia, and Kisses, who are all dogs.
Oh my god. This is
kind of like weirdly like Colt and his mom, except Colt and his mom lived with a bunch of cats. This is Jason and his dad living with a bunch of dogs.
Did they dress up the cats and take pictures of them, though?
Because yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes, the first episode, they had sweaters.
Oh, my God.
Like, one of the cats had a sweater, I want to say, Colt and his mom.
All right, so anyway, we skipped the part where I get to make my first impression of this one, because this is just... Did you put the flaming dumpster on the train before it crashes? Because this one is off the rails.
Yeah, it really is. This is such a crazy train wreck. Yeah. But so kind of going back to my similarities between Colt and his mom and Jason and his dad, Ron is putting paper collars on the dogs, and he says just for fun.
Just for fun. I
was like, oh my gosh. Wow. You guys need more hobbies. Their whole living station
is so weird.
Yeah. Well, okay. So how Jason and Cassia met, also not is on the up and up.
Also really weird. Yeah. So she was already in an online relationship with one of his army buddies.
Yes.
And then they broke up. Her and the army buddy, and then she contacted him, or he contacted her.
I think she contacted him.
So then she contacted him to be like, oh, well, so that just sounds like she's like, oh, that American didn't work out. Who's the next American that I know? Here we go.
Yeah. So she says that she thinks he's somewhat cute, a little chubby. But, it's kind of like, but she likes his beard, so it sounds like...
Of all the things to like...
It kind of sounds like, it'll do, pig. It'll do.
I can grit my teeth and bear it. Think of England. We'll get through it.
So Cassia's excited about the pool.
She
She
shouldn't
wants
be.
to live in. She should not be. It was green and gross, and I was like, "Where is Mike and Uncle Bo when you need them to dump
Hey,
blue
to
dye
dump-
into this pool?" That's what they really
So
need.
Gross. Their whole house was gross.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was not good. Yeah, but Jason has been spending like a whole month fixing up the house. That's what he says.
And this is what it looked like a month after fixing up. This is like the shit shed
gosh.
this year with Tanya and Sinjin.
Except it's a whole house.
Except it's a whole house and
Yeah.
a green pool.
Yes, it's not good. So Jason and Cassia have serious communication problems. Cassia is jealous and possessive, and she is unhappy that Jason has been less available to her while he claims he's been fixing up the house.
Right. So she's I would say clingy is the right word, but she seems to be demanding, like, when I text you,
Yes.
you need to text me back within
Right.
5 or 10 seconds or you are pissing me off.
Yeah. So Jason says that when she's stressed, she acts differently, and he is concerned about her temperament, and he wants it to improve. Already, it's like, you're gonna marry this. You have
already-
said so many things that are
things.
so concerning.
He started with serious communication problems.
Yeah. Right. Oh
My favorite
gosh.
is Jason's dad at one point says, like they were talking and Jason's dad was like, "That's great. That's great. That's great." I feel like if you said "that's great" 3 times, that's like Beetlejuice. You just made it not great. That's not great. If you had to say "that's great" to yourself over and over again,
Oh gosh.
it's not great.
Okay. As much as Jason, you hear from his side, and you mostly hear from his side about how these weird red flags from Cassia, like, I'm sorry, Jason is no prize either.
Oh no.
He's got his eyes like weird me out. I don't know what it is about.
He
his
looks way better with
eyes.
the glasses on. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're like bug out or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's got a bizarre relationship with his dad. Not like incestuously, like implied, like Colt and his mom, but
No,
there's
but like,
definitely a codependency there.
yeah, definitely. Like it
Yeah.
definitely feels like when you're getting in that relationship with Jason, you're also weirdly in a relationship with his dad.
Yes. And why do they have so many dogs? And,
And
why
does
do they
he
live in a
dress them
shithole?
up and
In paper clothes, not even real clothes. He's like, oh, let me go to my printer and print out a paper collar.
and we
for
haven't even
today."
gotten to how the dad like greets
Oh
Cassia
yeah.
when she comes.
So yeah, there's things about dad. Yeah. So, but Jason just seems like no prize. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like, oh,
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Did he mention? Is he previously married? Was he divorced?
no, he didn't mention anything about that.
Okay,
So
I couldn't remember if he did
yeah.
or not.
Yeah. So Cassia is pissed at Jason because she feels neglected because, like I mentioned, Jason's been fixing up the house. So she pretty much says that she's not coming to the airport. She's like, I'm not going to show up.
Right. So it took me a long time
So-
to figure out their logistics here. They were both going to fly to Rio
Right.
because she's not really particularly close to Rio. They're
Yes.
both going to fly to Rio and then get on a plane and fly back to the States.
Yes, it was kind of uncertain at the beginning because, you know, I kind of thought he was meeting her there and then they
Right.
would spend a couple days there. But it looks like he literally just like had a layover in Rio, like met her up in the airport and then like left.
Right. Right. Which is weird because
Yeah.
in order to get to Rio, he took a bus from Tampa to Miami.
Yeah.
And they got on
yeah.
a plane in
And-
Miami. It was very weird travel arrangements.
It was kind of funny too how Ron had his whole interview about like sending off Jason to college, then to the army, and now to get married.
Right.
I was
I
like,
put him on a
"Aw."
bus to do this. I put him on a bus. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cassia is pissed, and so she says, you know,
She's a little
at
perturbed.
minimum, she says, I'll try to go to the airport, but I'm not promising anything. What do you mean you try to go? What does that look like?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if you're pissed, you're just not going to show up.
I tried.
I tried to go to the
I
airport,
tried,
but I
but I
just didn't
just
quite make
wasn't
it.
feeling it.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Right.
So backing up for a second. Jason's packing up to meet her in Brazil. Okay, this kind of goes back to how long is he going to be there? Because it looked like he just had a layover, but then he's packing a whole bunch of snacks.
Oh, that's
You
right.
remember that part?
Because I'm not
And
gonna buy these there. He had like three.
Homie, don't play that game.
Yeah, he said, "Homie, don't play that game." Oh my god. He had like 3 full things of chips, like full like tubes of chips.
Yeah, he said because they're $15 for chips in Brazil.
Like what?
And I think that's why I thought he was going to be there longer too.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Because you can't live like
it wasn't just
24 hours without chips.
It wasn't just he had the chips. He packed like a whole suitcase, right? Didn't he have like a whole wheelie suitcase?
Yeah, I never thought of that. Maybe they just didn't show them in
Rio.
Yeah. Maybe they were there for like a day and just nothing happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be kind of dumb. Why would you fly to Rio and not just like go to the beach?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
Like I came all the way to Rio. I'm not gonna like turn around at the airport and come back. Spend some time.
Okay, so let's back up. How we find out how they got engaged. It was basically Cassia telling Jason, change your status on Facebook to engaged. And that's how they got engaged.
That was them getting engaged, right? So he bought a ring for her. He had a ring for her, right?
No, I don't think there was any ring involved.
Oh, I'm saying he was taking a ring to Rio because they were already engaged.
Oh, right.
Because of the status thing.
Yes. Yeah. I wish I could do that. Like,
you could just pick a random dude and be like, change your status to engaged.
Yeah, change your Facebook status. We are now engaged. I picked myself a good one.
Oh, gee, good for me. Good to do. That's I was getting. You say no prize. I feel like a guy who was like, all right, okay, I guess we're engaged then. That's also a red flag. Like, wait, you did not react to that appropriately.
Yeah, I feel like most guys that have feelings of some self-worth would maybe like, I don't know, push back a little bit.
Right.
Like, and not even in a way that's like, like, no, I don't want to get married to you, but more so in a way where like, well, I've been thinking about it. Why don't we wait until I ask you?
Right. Yeah. Just some sort of pushback and be like, oh, this seems like something we should discuss, and not just like,
yes,
okay.
Or it's like a mutual like, I guess. Okay, I don't mean to sound sexist about the guy has to decide about getting married, but like some kind of agreement, not someone told you to get married. Because I mean, even when guys ask, they ask.
I ask,
right?
Yeah, it's not a tell. Yeah,
it's not like some dude is coming up to some chick and saying like,
Take this ring.
We're getting married now.
Put this ring on your finger.
Put this ring on. We're engaged now.
Yeah.
That would be so weird. But that's basically what happened to them. So Cassia shows up to the airport. Mm-hmm. She's still mad, so she's definitely acting like it. And then he says, how do you feel about me? And she says, I made it to the airport. It's like, oh, God.
I'm here, right? Right.
Here. God. What else do you want?
God, she has got, and I noticed I said earlier I don't notice makeup. She has got the whitest wings on her eyeliner I've ever seen.
I hate her eyeliner. It is so tacky. Yes.
Like I know it's like the trendy thing to put the little wings or eyes or whatever. But like hers is like she just
eyeliner is out of control.
It was out of control.
I don't even understand what look that is.
I don't either. It almost looks like are you getting ready for an NFL game? Is that eye black? What are you doing? Like
yeah, it's not good. He meets her at the airport. They have it doesn't seem like a super like loving, emotional reunion. She's just kind of like, this guy.
She was like, nah, and he was just like relieved that she was there. So it wasn't.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So they head back to the U.S. and Ron plans a welcome with some balloons, and then your favorite part.
What? So he came out dressed as a clown. It was the worst looking clown I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't even like a bozo clown. It was like, it was barely recognizable as a clown. Like, why are you wearing an orange trampoline? I don't understand. But
well, you Yeah, you know why he did that, right?
But he did it specifically because he like, I was stalking her Facebook and I saw she didn't like clowns.
Yes, so he was
a
100% trolling her.
Why? I don't know. I get trolling people. I don't get trolling your future daughter-in-law as a first impression.
Yeah. Well, okay. I kind of feel like Ron maybe low-key trying to sabotage this situation, you know? Because he's already raised concerns about this. Mm-hmm. You know, he already knows that Cassia is difficult. He already knows that they have communication issues. I think that Dad, Ron, is like thinking, okay, this girl is bad news. She is going to mess everything up. Jason's going to just be a wreck. So why don't I help this breakup along?
I'm going to speed this situation up because I already know. I already know if this train. I know if this train's going to crash into the wall. Let's just get it there as fast as we can get it there.
Yeah, let's make things uncomfortable for her, and I think like for him, like he even says, you know, like she's either gonna see her place or she's not, or she's gonna leave. And so I think he's trying to get her to see her place. And so he's challenging her so she will see that she's not in control of everything and that, you know, she has to learn to kind of roll with the punches, or she's going to see that life is difficult and leave.
Right. Okay. I can see that.
Life with clowns are difficult.
With clowns. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because she's literally living with two clowns.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
But she has, of all the things, they go into the house, and of all the things for her to be upset about the house. I mean, she's not a fan of the green pool. But of all the mess, all the just crap that's laying around, her biggest beef was that the floor is half wood and half tile. And she's like, what? That can't be.
I'm not going to lie, that bothers me too. But I know, but honestly.
But if it's like an open floor plan house and the kitchen kind of cuts out, you have to change from wood to tile at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had my floors replaced, and it's like if it's not on the same level, like that's an issue. You can't have it. And I'm guessing that because I'm sure it's not real hardwood. It's like more of a laminate or some kind of. So that's a lot thinner. So there's going to be a difference in the level of if you have tile in the kitchen from before versus like the laminate.
Sure.
So like the transition, I think, isn't quite there. So
right,
I kind of get it. But
if it's a personal preference, it's a personal preference. But it is like 97 on the list of issues with that house.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you're picking up on the wrong things here. Definitely. Oh, so I thought it was funny. Even back then, they had interludes, but this one is interludes of grandmas riding bicycles.
Right.
And hearing aids?
They really want to key us into this part of Florida, and it's Gulf Coast. This part of Florida is not, you know, it's
young
not Miami. It's not young and hip Miami. It is old retiree Gulf Coast.
And then they also highlight that by going to a salad bar, a buffet salad bar.
They went to the early bird special too. Like they were
just I kind of felt like that too. Yeah,
right. And old.
I was
people,
definitely getting early bird special vibes. Definitely. Cassia is hinting at his chubbiness by asking him if he will diet.
He was like, "I'll start it tomorrow. I'm gonna have this blue cheese, like
with bacon."
It's not real bacon, but
bits.
I like it anyway.
Oh, yeah. So it's okay. So it's like almost like being on a diet.
Yeah.
It's not real bacon. Yeah.
She was not feeling the vibe of the salad bar. It was
Oh, no. She says, but she does admit that it'll give her an opportunity to grow fat.
Yes.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Which she can't do because she's going to be a model.
Oh, but more specifically, a bikini model.
A bikini model. Like,
yeah.
I feel like when they ask you what kind of model you're going to be, and you say bikini model, I feel like you don't know very much about the modeling industry. I don't think that's a known type of model.
Yeah.
Like, they just do bikinis. They don't do anything else. But he wants her to be a trade show girl.
Well, because I
instead.
think he's being more realistic about things.
Yeah,
You know,
that
like
is
maybe
true. That
understanding
is true.
that, you know, if you're going to be well, it's like not even a bikini model, but let's just say a catalog print. Because I guess that would be like what a bikini model would mostly be in is like
Sure.
catalog print type stuff. If she was doing that, that's incredibly competitive.
Right.
You know, so he's, you know, he's being more realistic about it. And he's like, okay, well, if you want to be a model, what kind of work could you realistically get? And trade show makes sense because, you know, it's not just like one model. You have to have models in all locations.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
And it makes sense too because it tends to be like a thing. You know, I'm not sure, but I bet in her neighborhood, in her place, she's probably the skinniest, best looking
Yeah.
woman around. And so she's like, well, I
Yeah.
could be a model. And it's like, but then, you know, you come here and it's also not understanding the geography and the way of our country. It's like, you can't just go to a random place and be like, I'm going to be a model in America. It's like, well, we don't have as models everywhere. Like, you gotta pretty much be in LA, New York. Like, that's it. If you're not there, you're gonna have trouble with most types of modeling.
Yeah. I feel like all of our Brazilians somehow are associated with modeling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have Kirlam, who, I mean, she wasn't trying to be a model, but she, you know, dabbled a little bit. And then you have Juliana.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't Jennifer, or are they from
No, she was Colombian.
Colombia? Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Because I was saying Jennifer and Powell, but they're Colombian. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all of our South Americans, though, seem to want to
Yes.
get into modeling.
Right.
Yeah.
But that tends to be a thing. It's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, maybe it's a South American thing, be like, oh, all the American women are fat and ugly. So if we go up there, we can just be the models because they need good-looking South
They
American
need
women to be
models.
models. Yeah.
Yes, they need to outsource their modeling because they're too fat.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been growing too much.
They've been growing too much. Exactly.
Yeah. Opportunities. There's so many opportunities for growth in America. So she asks Jason, she's like, well, you know, if things don't work out, if I don't like it here, more so, yeah, you'll move to Brazil. He was like, no.
No.
But I feel like it's one of those things where she'll just tell him, right?
Yeah, we're in Brazil now.
Yep. I bought the tickets.
It's going to be more like, I'm going to Brazil. Whether you come with me or not, I really don't give a shit. But that's what I'm going to be.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that was it.
I think that was it.
Right?
Oh.
Yep. Okay, so student of the week. Who did you have?
I'm with Amy for dealing with her difficult situation and some difficult people in respectful and tactful ways, and getting into, drawn out fights or being, a jerk.
Yeah, she was very kind about her confrontations. She definitely had confrontations with
Very much so.
Danny.
Uh-huh.
Yes. She was very kind. My student of the week, I had Ymir for making learning English a priority.
Oh, right.
God bless you, Ymir. We need more fiancés like you.
More go-getters about the language. All right, what about your class dunce?
Class dunce, I think we might agree this week. Nick, for being weird and ignorant and a little racist.
Okay, weird and ignorant Nick is definitely up there, but I went with Jason just because.
Oh, did you?
He's just a doof. Like, just the fact that he's like, the first thing he did introducing her was just to list all the red flags. Like,
my gosh.
I can't even tell what he likes about her, what she thinks he likes about him. He's just like a mess. Everything's a mess. And so I went with Jason for that.
Ah. Yeah, I feel like we have a couple more weeks for Jason to be there again. I don't know. He might be like this season's Robert.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so your life lesson?
All right. My life lesson is, and it comes to some of them, have a good plan for where people are going to sleep when you get there.
Oh, gosh, yes.
And not have a good plan, but have it taken care of. Like, if someone flies halfway across the world for you, the least thing you could do is have a made, clean bed for them.
Right.
that they get to sleep on. And especially if
Yeah.
if they just got off the plane, it's people want to sleep. Don't make them clean
Yeah.
clothes off the bed, right? I thought, Chelsea's parents did fantastic, right? Whereas,
Yes.
Jason and Brett, not so hot. Not so
No.
hot.
Brett, Daya, yeah.
Yeah.
Brett making Daya share the room.
Share the room. I mean, it's just it's not too hard
Yeah.
to just have a nice bed set up for someone who just flew internationally to be with you. Like, that's like the
Yeah.
least you could do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, my life lesson is that relationships take time, especially with children. You can't expect to have, they kept on referring to her as Instamom. You can't expect to have
Yeah.
an Insta relationship with a kid. And I would even say that kids are kind of like animals in this way. It's like, the harder you try, they pick up on that. And it's like their immediate reaction is to kind of like push you away. And it's kind of funny. I'm not a huge fan of being around children, but kids really like me. And the reason why they like me is because I don't really try that hard with them. I'm like, yeah, kid, you can like me or not like me. And I think they like pick up on that, like,
Right.
kind of more indifferent energy. But the people that really, really try, I mean, it's kind of like that, I don't know, playing hard to get kind of
Right. Well, that's what I'm
psychology.
saying. That you have the attitude of like, it gets the kid like, oh no, I have to impress her. Like, she's not here to play for me. I have to.
Right.
I have to.
I'm like,
I have to
I don't
dance
care,
for
kid.
her to get this attention. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So, I mean, I feel like you just can't expect that much, and just, being a little understanding of, it takes time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
All
So that wraps up our classic episode for today. So we
Yep.
have a new episode on Monday that's going to be covering our current season of 90 Day Fiancé. So if you all can remember to give us a rating, that would really help other people find us. Anything else to add?
Nope. I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. Well, then
All right.
we'll see you all soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.